Hello everybody, and welcome to this week's energy update. My name is Rebecca.meisl. If this is your first time joining me, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. These energy updates I make every single week to give us kind of the pulse of the week, what the current energetics are, what is supported, and some collective messages as they channel through from my guides to you. So this week I'm very excited to move into what came through for us. Our first big theme of the week is transformation and rebirth. And as I was sitting down to meditate and to channel, I kept getting Phoenix energy very, very strongly here. So we're getting this total transformation that's happening. When Phoenix energy comes in, it's completely that shift from rising from the ashes. So lots of things have been coming to the surface the past few weeks regarding our shadow aspects and our shadow sides. And I feel like this past week we might have gotten a lot of illumination regarding where things truly stand. And that really continues this week. We're starting to burn down those bridges. We're burning down those connections and things that no longer serve. And we're getting further illumination this week of what needs to be released, what needs to go, and what needs to shift and transform so we can truly embrace this next chapter with this ease and grace and the way we really want to. So what was really coming through was allowing this process to happen. You know, a lot of times we can force or struggle or want things on our timeline, but this week it's very important that we flow with the changes. We flow with the transformation that's happening and we allow it to happen. So that can sometimes be hard as a human being. We might want to stall things. We might not be wanting to let go of the things that are being almost like ushered out of our lives, but we're needing to release that grip of control. So really allow yourself to flow this week. Allow yourself to change, to grow and shift, even if it's uncomfortable. And allowing ourselves to have the flexibility in our belief systems and attitudes. So a big thing that was coming up is we might begin to question our established beliefs. So we need to be adaptable this week. We need to be inquisitive. We need to ask questions, and we need to start seeing things out from the lens of our trauma, because I'm seeing a lot of us are seeing things through our trauma, that lens of our hurt, of our pain, of our pasts. And this week we're getting that removal of the veil where it's like, okay, where are we still stuck in these patterns of the past? Where are we still seeing things through this lens of distortion and we're not really seeing the truth? So this week we're needing to get inquisitive and ask those sorts of questions. Like if there's a problem you're facing, or if there's a decision you're facing, if there's something that's bothering you deep down, we're needing to get inquisitive. We're needing to get curious. You know, what if this belief system that I'm clinging to, that's always kind of been the same cycle for me, the only way I've seen my life up until now, what if it's not true? What if I'm seeing things through the lens of my trauma? And we're starting to gather the evidence of that, and we're starting to really blow through these lies, these deceptions, these things that we have put in place that, you know, we had good intentions for. It's like, okay, these belief systems keep me safe in what's familiar for me, but it's not allowing the expansion. It's not allowing the growth. And I'm seeing some of us be quite stuck in our ways and quite stubborn. So they're showing me the donkey, like stubborn. So with that, it's like we need to blow through this. And that's what they're just showing me, is like this powerful force that blows through our perspectives of the past. So we might be getting a wake-up call this week. We might be getting that, or maybe we've already had this and we're needing to adjust to this because it looks like an explosion. That's what they're showing me, this explosion, this blowing wide open. And we need to be able to get inquisitive, because some of this might be almost re-traumatizing for us, because it's like, okay, now that I've seen that this lens that I've been looking through is wrong, this deception, this We might have this fear because it's like, well, now I don't know what I believe, and that's uncomfortable, and that makes me feel unsafe, right? It can be really tough when we're going through these times of unknown, and it seems to be such a huge theme over the past almost few months, this traversing of unknown territory. And it's because the universe is really speeding up right now. The energies are really shifting and speeding up, and it's a constant process. So we're going to be in these times of unknown, and we're in unfamiliar territory. We're going to continue to be, because the world is leveling up. There's that expression. We're raising the vibration. The earth itself is raising its vibration, and we need to come along with it. So those of us who are more aware, we're starting to get this information, this shift. We're starting to get downloads. We're starting to get more psychic insight. Maybe our abilities have been broadening. Maybe we're waking up. There's more people that are waking up right now at this time, because it's the current energies. It's like, okay, guys, we're either expanding forward, or you're going to stay where you're at. And we're each facing these decisions. We're each facing these choices of whether we're going to continue to move with this higher vibration, or if we're going to stay in the state of fear, if we're going to stay in what's familiar. So we're being challenged this week, and they want to show how broad this is. It's not just you who's facing these things right now. It's all of us on this collective level. And that's exciting, because we're learning to love ourselves more deeper than ever before. We're learning how to work with our divine feminine energy, where we have to trust, where we have to flow, where we have to move with our intuitive knowing, as opposed to trusting just the masculine energy. We're learning to bring this harmonization and synchronization within the energies, and flowing with it as we continue to rise in vibration. So it's truly an amazing and pivotal moment in our history right now, and we need to be able to shift with these changes, as uncomfortable as they may be. So what was really coming in was creating space for this change, because we need to cleanse, we need to detox, we need to release, to create this space, to create this room. So what was really, really critical is we need to clear our physical spaces this week. We need to sage, we need to clear the energies, we need to clutter clear, we need to remove junk, we need to detox our bodies, detox our relationships. This is all coming up. And we think of that traditional detoxing. When we do a detox, we always feel like crap the first little bit, right? We all those toxins are being released that have been stored in our bodies for who knows how long. And when that free flow begins, we're going to feel the full brunt of that. We're going to feel sick. We're going to feel unwell. We're going to feel knocked out by those toxins rising to the surface. And this is what they're kind of showing me, that we're in this phase of where we're like, oh my gosh, all these toxic things are coming to my awareness, and it's overwhelming. So you need to go gentle with yourself this week as this process happens. But knowing that we're now going to start moving into the flush stage, where we're going to start flushing out these toxins. We're going to start removing the things that no longer serve your highest self. So we're learning to lean into this process, and that is what is encouraged this week. So challenge your perspectives, move out from seeing things only from your past and from that lens of trauma, of your hurt and conditioning. We're needing to question so much this week. What are you unsure about? What beliefs are you holding on to that aren't true? What perspectives do we need to broaden? How can we start looking at our situations from different perspectives and seeing what resonates best for us now? And so they're giving me that example of, maybe we have a relationship and we're so all into that relationship, but over time things have shifted and changed, and maybe this person has become a totally different individual, or the opposite. Maybe they're not growing, or maybe they're not changing, and maybe now you're opening your eyes to toxicities and you're like, oh, actually, maybe this isn't such a good relationship for me. We're starting to question, right? Like, what is it that I need now? What is most healthy for me now? And how can I start putting in the proper boundaries and changes and shifts that I require? right? So we're needing to constantly evaluate during this time because we are changing, we are upgrading our energies, we are transforming. So trust the process and do yourselves a favor and create that room, create that space, clear, detoxify, purge. They're even bringing in the physical here. So how has your diet been? How have you been treating your body? How are you moving your body? How can you support yourself through this time of change? Okay. So we're removing these fears and doubts because I'm really seeing that most of our perspectives and limiting beliefs are stemming from that foundation of fear. So I'm seeing some of us get triggered this week, some of us continuing this cycle of being triggered. And we really need to dive deeper in. It's like, why is this coming up for me? How is this showing me where I need healing? How can I stop ignoring and start facing the truth of what is truly coming forward for me? So we're needing to remove those fears, removing the self-doubt, and start stepping into our power and our adaptability. That was a big word this week, adaptability. How can we start adapting to the changes that are coming forward? How can we start being resilient and trusting our intuitive prompts? And there was a huge theme of signs this week. So we're going to be getting a lot of signals and signs from our guides and from the universe. And they want to affirm we are constantly reaching out to you. We are constantly trying to get you messages to help ease this process. So really make sure you're watchful. Really make sure you don't get overwhelmed with this analysis paralysis that was kind of sneaking in from last week. Allow yourself to really take notice of what is coming forward for me. How is the universe showing me what I need to do next? And how can I have unyielding trust in that sign, in those processes, in what's being called forward for me now? So what else channel to help us through this time is to really get a good perspective and review of our lives at this time. So they're mentioning like our current circumstances, but also our past. So we might be going through a little bit of this review of these cycles that we've held on to, these toxic things that we've held on to. We might be reviewing our lives in general and our past in general. And we're getting that really clear look at what worked for us, what didn't work for us, cycles that are repetitive that we're seeing come forward again, that are ready to be broken, that are ready to be changed. And we're needing to really start deeper diving into the lessons that we're learning or have learned from the past to really help shape this new foundation, this new future that we are literally building from the ground up at this time. So what they're really suggesting here, it's like, take a step back. If you were to look at the whole course of your life, what were the main lessons you learned? What were the patterns and toxicities that consistently come up for you? And they're really bringing about these patterns in like relationships, with our finances, with our health, all of those different things, and really getting a broader perspective. What is coming up for me now, and how can I break these cycles? So we're needing to ask those questions. What did I learn? What's changing now? What course corrections am I being moved to make? So when we look at the past, we can really see like, oh, okay, I made mistakes here. Or, oh, I should have done this, or I should have been more aware. But now you've learned those lessons. So it's like, okay, how can I now apply those lessons to what's coming forward for me now? What lessons do I not want to repeat? What cycles do I want to stop repeating? What patterns were in my family that I don't want to carry on? Right? And it's requiring that we get honest. So we need to see things in truth as they really are and past the illusions that are coming forward for us right now. So once again, this kind of repeats from last week where we're needing to work with those shadow sides where we've hidden, undesirable qualities in ourselves, or we've hidden things from the light that we need to really look at and evaluate and shift and change. And we're needing to get the truth. We're needing to go, okay, maybe I need to stop ignoring this part of me and I need to start working with it. I need to start accepting it. I need to start pouring love into it and forgiving myself for the past and for the mistakes I've made, and going, okay, but now I can have this opportunity to shift, to change, and to move forward. So it's really the most loving thing we can do for ourselves is addressing these shadow aspects and really allowing them to come to the surface with this attitude of acceptance and compassion. So that was really huge. They're like, don't forget to have compassion for yourself. You are a human being. You need to forgive yourself for the past. You need to forgive yourself for things that you've done wrong or things you've let slip. It's like, give yourself that grace. So important this week. But use this now as motivation to make corrections in your life so we can really start creating this new future that you're wanting to build. So the other thing that they were really landing in here was this illusion of greatness. So this was interesting. What kind of channeled here was some of us might have this very strong idea of what greatness looks like, what success looks like, and what we're kind of planning things to look like in our future. And what was kind of coming through is we need to start shifting our perspective of what success really means for you as an individual, what greatness really means for you as an individual, what abundance looks like for you as an individual, because they're giving me this example of social media. So social media always gives us the same picture. You know, whenever we go on social media or whenever we go and watch TV or movies or read books, we tend to have this very linear view of success. It's like, well, you have to have this great job. You have to be in these occupations. You have to do this and that to be successful. You have to have this timeline met where you're married and have children, and that makes you happy. That's what success looks like. You know, we have all these very definitive viewpoints and perspectives of what success looks like, what greatness looks like, and we tend to idolize these perfect pictures of whatever it is we're looking at. And so with that, they're like, we need to stop comparing ourselves to those perfect pictures that are not real. There are illusions in this world that are trying to taint our perspectives and almost give us this false sense of success that, you know, when we talk to many who actually have it all, they're unhappy, or there's things beneath the surface that they hide and we can't see. So we need to start shifting our perspectives and once again getting to the truth. What is true success? And what does that really look like for me? You know, success might be for you as an individual doing what you love every day. Success might be having something for yourself, having your first home where you're like, okay, this is strictly my space, or this is where I find my peace. Success might be as simple as, I did my meditation today. I took 5 minutes out for myself and I did some breath work. You know, I was able to book a session and do some healing. You know, success can be simple, and we need to start simplifying that and stop comparing ourselves to the false narrative that really isn't true. So they're really wanting us to begin to shift our perspectives even of abundance and what that looks like, and stop looking at things through this lens that society gives us, this conditioning that society gives us, and stop falling prey to those traps, because it's really making us feel like failures, you know, and that's what they want to shift. It's like, this is where we have to forgive ourselves for not meeting the impossible standards that we are given, that we are conditioned to believe. And these are the belief systems we need to start questioning, right? Where do I have this faulty belief system that's making me feel constantly not good enough, that's making me constantly set up for failure? Where is this an unattainable standard? And where do I need to give myself more compassion, more grace, more forgiveness? And where do I need to release the shame surrounding that I haven't met that unattainable standard? Right? So we're needing to see reality. We need to see past the illusions of greatness, and we need to start shifting that perspective to what does that mean for me? So this was so cool because what came through next was getting clarity and deciding on what you truly want this human experience to be. What are your standards for life? What do you truly desire? What is that going to look like on a daily basis? And where can we start removing the impossible standards to attainable standards that actually fit our goals and desires and who we are as an individual and as a soul, right? So what are your personal standards for life? What do you want this experience to be? And how can we simplify it? You know, they're really showing me this removal of all the things we thought we needed to be happy and dropping into the reality that we can be happy every single day with less of what we thought we needed and more of what we have already. And we're starting to see this abundance mindset come in that shifts in and lands this week within our perspectives and within our souls, where we're like, wow, just taking this walk outside is so fulfilling for me. Or wow, connecting with my guides, connecting with myself in this moment, that is truly beautiful for me. And we're shifting these perspectives and becoming more simplified in what gives us this joy, what gives us this beautiful experience for life. And that's the thing they're really telling us not to forget this week, is to be human, because they're like, yes, a lot of times we have this purpose, we have this move, this desire to move in and shift and make change in this world. But we also have to remember to enjoy this experience. We're not here to just be slaves. We're not here to just, follow what society dictates and even what our own belief systems dictate at times, where we need to allow ourselves the grace to just enjoy being human. Give yourself that. How often are you participating in the joy of humanity? How often are you allowing yourself to come down from the serious of life and have fun? So they're really wanting us to make the most of this human experience, because that is also part of why we're here. We're here to enjoy life. So don't lose sight of that. So we're removing the need for this impossible standard. And what channeled next was removing the need for protection. So this was quite cool, because what they're showing me is a lot of us layering on this protection. So they're showing me like an individual where they just keep putting more and more and more clothes on, more jackets, the next layer, the next layer, the next layer, feeling like they want to hide within this vast amount of clothing, wanting to hide beneath the surface and keep protected. And so with that, we're needing to shed these layers that we've built in protection of ourselves that are no longer needed. So what they're showing me is someone who's like so hot because they have all these layers of clothes on and they don't need them. They don't need all of these clothes. So they're showing us slowly peeling off a layer, slowly taking off a jacket, now the next one, now the next one. And it's like this removal that we're doing slowly but surely to get us back into the state of comfortability, back in the state of recognizing, okay, this is good. I've finally reached this layer where I feel protected, I feel warm, I feel good, I feel safe, right? And that's what they're showing us that we are in the midst of doing. We're beginning to start seeing our power, and we're beginning to remove this need to constantly be on the defense. And that might seem challenging this week because, once again, we are going into unknown territory. So when we don't know where we're going, the first natural inclination for most of us is to prepare. It's like a lot of times we don't want to dive right in because we don't know what to expect, right? But this is where the trust is coming in. This is where our inner resiliency is coming in, and recognizing and honoring the power that does exist within us already. So a lot of us as human beings, and what they're showing me is we've come into the world and we've forgotten our power. We've forgotten what we really are. We've forgotten who we are. And we get this like we pass through that veil where we forget everything that we knew on the other side. We forget all the truths, all the knowledge, all of those things, so we can have this authentic human experience. But the journey is coming full circle now, where we're beginning to remember. We're beginning to see past that veil. That veil is thinning. And as the world starts shifting in vibration and we start returning back to love, so these things start returning back to us. So once again, they're showing how our abilities are waking up, how we're expanding in our psychicness, in however that comes through for you. And it's all for a reason, because that veil is thinning. We're beginning to come back to our true selves and recognizing what truly exists within us, which is very powerful. We are limitless beings, and we have simply forgotten how limitless we are, how anything we want to create, we create. Just by being, just by believing, we create our realities. And they're really bringing this home this week to remember how powerful you are. Remember the limitless potential you have. So despite what comes forward for us these next few weeks, despite what happens in your life in general, you can face anything that comes your way. And even when that comes to decisions, they're showing me like these pivotal decisions that a lot of us are making right now. And I really feel like this is in the realm of career very strongly. Even with family, things like that, like these crucial decisions in life that can really shift and make big impact. And they're really bringing this in where it's like, okay, we need to believe in ourselves. We need to believe that we are powerful. We can do anything. So when we're making these decisions, we need to make them with that in mind. We have to remind ourselves and remove the doubt and the fear that often makes us want to make the practical choice, that often makes us want to make the decisions that are within our box of safety and what is familiar. And once again, they're bringing in the lens of trauma. How are we still viewing things through the lens of our past perspectives? Are these things you still want to believe, right? What is now in alignment with you, with love, with harmony? What is the most loving decision for you, right? And really allowing yourself to wash away the confusion and get grounded in your power. So what really came through for this week is this theme of sacrifice. Where are we sacrificing needlessly? Our wants, our desires, our hopes, our dreams, and what is actually in alignment for us in favor of fear-based patterns. Okay, powerful stuff coming in this week. We feel like we're getting hit over the head with this. It is intense. And it's like a no-nonsense energy. That's what I keep feeling. It's like, nope, we need to get clarity. And you need to start making decisions that are in alignment with who you are now. Not from who you were. Not from the conditioning of your parents. Not from the other people's perspectives around you. Who are you? Who are you now? And how do you want to move forward? So stop sacrificing. Where are you sacrificing instead of compromising? Where are you sacrificing needlessly, right? So they want to bring this distinction between sacrificing and compromising, because I feel like this might come up this week. So they're really bringing in this correlation where it's like, okay, sacrificing is where you give up something of yourself, something you have, something you don't want to give up, and you're sacrificing that. You're giving it up on behalf of something or someone else. But it's really not in your favor, right? When you sacrifice something, you're giving something up of yourself that you don't want to give up, perhaps. Compromising is where you meet in the middle, where it's like, okay, I'll give a little bit, you give a little bit, then we're both satisfied, right? We both aren't on this unlevel area where we're able to both have harmony, right? And so they're really bringing in this shift in perspective where it's like, okay, where have we thought we've been compromising, but we're actually sacrificing? Okay, and where do we want to stop that? Another way this might come through this week in the theme of sacrifice is where we are sacrificing our desires and our goals and our dreams on behalf of what's practical, okay? Now they are bringing this up because what's practical and logical sometimes can conflict with what we're getting intuitively. And it requires that leap of faith sometimes for us to go out on a limb and trust ourselves so much that despite what the outside and internal evidence says, that we're going to trust our intuition anyway, right? So they're really kind of saying this leap of faith might come in this week and we're needing to trust. So even if everything logically is looking like you need to sacrifice, you need to put your needs aside and do what's right, is it right for you? Okay? And is that in your best interest as you begin to become who you're meant to be? Are you sacrificing your purpose? Are you sacrificing your dreams? Are you sacrificing what you want because of fear, because of your past, because how things should look? What are you prioritizing? Money? Fear? Worry? Family, relationships, and where does that put you? Okay, we need to get honest. Where are you in this equation? So one step at a time, and this is the advice. Focus on one thing at a time and give it your all for a 24-hour cycle. So they're like, almost give yourself this test run this week where it's like, okay, if I was to go all in to what I want to do, what would that look like? What would that feel like? And they're saying, play with that. You know, if you're like, okay, I really want to build my own business doing, say something creative, say you're an artist, painting, we'll use that example, then give yourself one full day where you just do that, where you're like, okay, this is my day that I'm going to play in that energy. What would that feel like? What would that look like if this was my full-time job, right? And give yourself that whole day where you just create. You build a website, you maybe get an Etsy page, you start taking photos of your work, or you start creating pieces that you would love to have, in an art gallery, or, they're just saying like, take those first steps and play with that. Like, what would it be like if I could go all into my dream? And they're just saying that will bring the focus back to where it needs to be. Our energy is back and funneled and directed to where they need to be. And they're once more bringing up our power of manifesting here. We are limitless. So where are we saying that we aren't? Where are we putting limits on our dreams? Where are we saying, oh no, I can't. I'll push that off until I have XYZ, until I have enough money, or until I have the perfect situation. No, what can you do? And how can you put that experience in your life where it's like, okay, this is what it would be like? And really begin that plan, that cycle, that excitement that perpetuates that energy outward. And once again, it's like, no more compromising, no more settling, no more sacrificing your needs. And they're saying, get rid of the excuses of why you're not, right? So many times, once again, it's like, oh, well, I can't, I've got this to do, I've got to prioritize this, blah, 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 blah. We need to get honest. Where are you not prioritizing your dreams? And then becoming resentful that your dreams never come, okay? We need to get honest. So prioritize. Take things in shifts, 24-hour day. What can I do in a 24-hour day? What is one thing I can do for myself? What is one thing I can start doing to make a change? And letting yourself plan for that future. So we need to organize for success this week. That's what's really coming in with this other theme. Planning for the future. What is the best course of action you can take to acquire your dreams without settling? Ask for help. Okay, so this came in right after that. Ask for help. So I'm seeing people be caught up in the how. So it's like, I know I want to do this, but how do I do it? And we're needing to reach out to others for advice and for help this week. So they were showing me friends getting together, brainstorming, helping you kind of come to your own conclusions is what was coming through, and to listen to their advice, okay? Because I'm seeing a lot of us have very good advice that's going to come in this week through other people. And it's so funny because I'm seeing this angel right now smiling and kind of winking like, haha, I did that. So this is going to be channeled guidance to you. This is going to be divinely orchestrated. Be very mindful of the same message you're hearing from other people. Okay, and notice how your guides are utilizing your friendships right now to give you the advice and the solutions and answers you need. Okay, so they're just showing me the gut space, the solar plexus. So when you get that gut feeling and you're like, oh, okay, what you just said really resonated, that's your advice. Okay, so listen and learn to tune into that intuitiveness that you have within you. All right. They're also showing me that we're going to get a lot of clarity when we do that clutter clearing, when we release and we detox. It's going to be so easy for a lot of this guidance to start coming in and making more sense. So setting up a strong foundation, taking care of your financial future, and releasing fear of failure. Okay, this was really cool. So a lot of us are, once again, comparing. We are trying to hold on to those old standards we held out for ourselves. So a little reminder, do not fall into that trap. Do not fall into that doubt that I'm going to fail, that this isn't going to work for me. Can I do this? Am I good enough? When that comes in, remind yourself that this is a pattern that's ready to be broken. I am ready to believe in myself. I am ready to go all into my dreams. I'm ready to align myself with my destiny, with my purpose. And I am going to regret it so much if I allow doubt and fear to squander my chance at making this happen. Okay, so we're getting this clarity around what we are here to do and making sure we do it. Okay, getting that big picture. What am I learning? What lessons do I need to take with me forward now? And how can I break these repetitive patterns of toxicity? So the next advice was, if you get nervous, focus on service. So once again, we can get overwhelmed when it comes to our own lives. We can get overwhelmed with our direction, what we're doing. We can get caught up in the seriousness. And so for us light workers, what was really channeling was like, okay, well, how do you want to show up? How do you want to help other people? You know, taking the focus off of just ourselves and moving into that energy of, how am I here to serve? How am I here to help other people in their journey? And what is it that's calling me? How would I do that? Right? So for some of us, it might be energy work. For some of us, it might be, readings. For some of us, it might be through health, helping people sustain their health. It might be through making conscious body products, helping them with their food, their diet, all these different ways and all these different modalities that we can be of service to this world and helping other people. And they want to remind us of that. It's like, get back into your energy of generosity, of what you're being moved to do to help serve this world while you're here. And that creates passion, that creates excitement. Instead of this, can I do it? And putting all this focus on just your own self, it's like, well, how can I help people right now where I'm at? And it shifts this perspective from, once again, fear and overwhelm to love, to compassion, to appealing to our heart space. And that was really highlighted. They're showing me the heart like this precious jewel. It's like, I want to share this. I want to be able to share this beautiful treasure, these gifts that lie within me. And the best way I can do that is by sharing myself, is by sharing with other people. And it was really beautiful because I'm seeing so much fall into place when we start doing that, when we start tapping into how we're meant to serve this world. and tapping into those natural abilities, right? So once again, they're really showing me this knack that people have to heal, right? So how are you being moved to heal? How are you here to serve? How can you start having a playfulness and excitement and reignite that passion for your life and your destiny? So my friends, that is all I have for us for this week. What an amazing channeled reading. I must say there were some really powerful messages that came through. So how did they resonate for you? I would love to know. Let me know your comments below. If you haven't already, I would love to have you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe, leave your comments. It all helps me so much. And share this reading if it resonates for you and if it could help anyone else. So sending you all so much love. Thank you for being here. And I'm wishing you all a beautiful and successful week ahead. Bye, my friends.